Hello everybody. Today we are going to continue our work with fractions, and we're going to be doing some comparing of fractions today. We're going to be taking a look at which fractions are larger and which ones are smaller. So before we even get started, I want you to take a look at the far right over here. You can see I'm using a different app, and you can see I've got a bunch of fraction strips. And if you have your fraction strips with you, I want you to pull your fraction strips out, and I want you to line them up just like you see them here on the picture. And I want you to see if you notice anything. Look at how you've got one whole at the top here, then 1/2, then 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/6, 1/7, 1/8, and so on. And I want you to think about what's happening with the size of those fractions. So if you look, we're going from larger to smaller, right? 1/2 is our largest, and 1/8 is the smallest. But that seems a little strange, doesn't it? If I look at 1/2, and I look at 1/8, and I compare these two, it seems a little strange that 1/2 is larger than 1/8. 1/2 is greater than 1/8. And that seems a little weird, doesn't it? Because you would think 1/8 is greater because of the larger number on the bottom, right? We have a larger denominator. But I want you to take a look. As that denominator gets bigger, what's happening to all of the pieces? They're getting smaller, right? So if we recognize that our denominator is telling us how many parts a whole is getting broken into, then you'll realize that the larger the denominator, the bigger your denominator gets, the smaller the pieces are. So I'm going to write that right down here. The larger the denominator, the smaller the piece, because you have to fit in more pieces. Oops, I made a mistake here. Denominator. The larger the denominator, the smaller the pieces, because you have to fit more pieces in. If you think about having a cookie and you want to share it with just one other friend, well, then you're going to represent that by using 1/2, right? Here's you, here's your friend, and you each get equal sized pieces. Now take that same cookie and think about sharing with 3 people. Well, if you wanted to take a cookie and share it with 3 people, then you're going to end up with thirds, right? Okay, and that means each person's piece is going to be a lot smaller, because now you have the same sized cookie that's being shared among 3 people. And then if you think about that in terms of fourths, right? It's going to end up being the same thing. Oops, I don't know what I just did there, guys. Sorry, new app. Okay, so if you think about that, more people who are going to share the whole, the smaller the pieces are going to get. So as your denominator gets larger, your pieces are going to get smaller. So today what I want you to do is to compare some fractions. So if you see something like 1/2, let me change my color here. If we think about 1/2 compared to 1/3, what I'm going to have you do is take your fraction strips, find a 1/2 fraction strip, find a 1/3 fraction strip. Oops, this is gonna... And I want you to put them next to each other. Whoops, not like that, sorry. I just want you to put them near each other so that you can see which one's larger. And if you look, you can see that the 1/2 is larger, because see, one piece stops here, whereas the thirds stop here. Remember that this way means greater than, and this way means less than. The open side always goes towards the larger number. Okay, so we would put in a greater than symbol, because we would say 1/2 is greater than 1/3. Okay, If I asked you to compare, whoops, I'll do an undo, I guess, on that. Oh well. If I asked you to compare, let's see, 1/4 with 1/3, we would put our fraction strips next to each other. And which one's larger, 1/4 or 1/3? Well, 1/3 is larger, right? You can see that it goes farther. It's bigger because you don't have to break it up into as many pieces. So we would say 1/4 is less than 1/3, remembering that the open part goes toward the larger fraction and the closed part goes toward the smaller part. Okay? So today what you're going to do is use your fraction strips, and I want you to be comparing two fractions by using those fraction strips next to each other and getting in the correct less than or greater than symbol. Okay? Good luck, have fun, and let me know if you need